Welcome to another episode. Had some like there was another screen in front of my screen. Not sure what was going on, but welcome to another episode of the Make Mental Health Matter show. I am your host, Kelli Melissa Reinhardt, and it's one of those days that the technology, it works with you or it doesn't work with you, and it seems to be one of those things. But I guess that's why I know some of you that are listening, you're like, I don't even see what you're talking about. I just heard you. But those of you that are watching are like, there's a screen in front of your face. So depending on wherever you are tuning in, whether that is listening or watching, sometimes I have technical difficulties, and I think that's what I love about the show is it doesn't really matter. I really truly, this show is about getting information out to you as the listener, and really making sure that I bring people resources to you. And I hope that those guests that I have on are and have been helpful in the past. I don't know about you, but I have learned a ton from my guests over the years. Really, truly, I use a lot of their words. I use a lot of their techniques. I use a lot of the things that I have learned specifically from my guests in my life today. And oftentimes, I seek out specific guests so that I can have them on the show and learn even more from them. So, my hope is that the show genuinely gives you people resources or tools or tips or tricks that you can use in your everyday life. Not trying to make it hard, but really simple, accessible tools. And that's actually what we're going to do today. I don't have a guest, but I think it's kind of cool to have solo shows because oftentimes we're really focused on the guest. And if you've been watching or listening to my show for quite some time, you probably have heard me interjecting some of my story and my understanding through the guests and what they're sharing. But ultimately, I want to make sure, especially as we're getting to the end of October, which I cannot believe that it is almost November. Wow, it just has gone by so fast this year. And I mean, I don't want to say it, but I think there's only like 60, what? Let's see, 65, 64, 63, 60, 60-ish. I don't know. Somewhere in the 60s. Maybe we're at 59. I don't know. Days till Christmas. I don't know about you. I love Christmas, but I also don't like Christmas in a way. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to buy presents, and so we've been having a whole conversation, my husband and I, with what we do this year. Anyways, totally off topic, but I'm sure that's something that might be coming up for a lot of people right now is, oh man, Christmas is coming. Or maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, and that's okay too. Maybe you have a different religion or different beliefs or Hanukkah or whatever that looks like for you. The end of the year tends to give people more anxiety. It gives people that feeling of pressure because we're coming to the end of the year. Or with some people, it might give them relief because they're like, we're coming to the end of the year. And next year feels like a new start. But I truly believe that every day can be a new start. And I think it starts with us. We really, truly have to be able to find those resources within ourselves, or maybe we go back and watch a couple episodes here and find some people that gave us resources. But we have to learn that every day is actually a new day for us to start over. And I know that sometimes it doesn't feel that way, especially if you are somebody who is experiencing anxiety or depression, or you live with a mental health challenge on a daily basis. Just getting out of bed sometimes can be challenging. So I see you, and I understand that these are experiences that people go through on a daily basis. I have lots of people that surround me that have mental health challenges, and every day they're like, just getting out of bed is my biggest challenge. So I totally get it, and I acknowledge you, and I want you to just understand that what I want to do today is give you some really simple tools, but I also want to share a couple things that I have found recently with apps and different things that I started sharing. Actually, I had some friends share with me, and then I started sharing. And anyways, with the whole nonprofit, we tend to get lots of requests of people wanting to share their tools with us, so that we can share them with you, especially those of you that tune into this show. So I know some of you listen. There's actually like 85,000 of you that listen to this show. So I'm going to do some exercises, or I don't know if they're exercises, but I'm going to show some of the tools for people to help. So if you haven't ever watched the show, I invite you to go over to the Make Mental Health Matter YouTube channel. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, because then you'll get alerts every time we go live. And that's really the only thing that I post on the YouTube channel. So it's not like we're spamming or anything, but hopefully you tune in anyways. So why not subscribe? Also, then you'll maybe remember to actually watch versus listen. But either way, if listening is easier, that's okay. If watching is better, that's okay too. But I invite you, at least for this one, to go watch, because I'm physically going to show some things that might be helpful. I'll try to explain the best I can. But if you happen to listen to this as you're driving, don't try these. There's a couple that you can, but there's a couple that you may not want to while you're driving. So, the reason, okay, I'm gonna blah, 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 reverse just a little bit. That's my rewind. I'm like, blah, 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 rewind. I have had many people more recently come up to me and say, I'm really struggling. I need some help. Like, whatever you can give me, whatever tools you can give me, I just need some support. I've had a lot of people ask me about all the different types of modalities as far as what it means. There's like cognitive behavioral therapy there, which is CBT. There's DBT. There is EMDR. There's NLP. There is Reiki. There's tapping. There is trying to think of all breath work. There is sound bath. There is there's life coaches. There are peer recovery coaches. There are everybody seems to be a coach today, right? And so it gets a little confusing when we go out in the world, the mental health, the holistic space of what actually works, and not saying that any of them don't work, because a good chunk of everything is evidence-based, and just because it is evidence-based doesn't necessarily that it always works. So those are a couple things I want to kind of go through today. There's all these acronyms, and there's all these different processes, and all these different coaches that you could possibly tap into, right? What I like to tell people is whatever works for you, do that. And sometimes you have to do what I like to call speed dating with therapists, or you have to speed date with your coaches, or you have to speed date even with massage therapists. I personally have found certain ones that I really, really love. And then I've had massages that were not so relaxing, and you're like, what is happening? Also, there are lots of different people that do very similar things. Like myself, I am a neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP coach. We have a whole group, a whole network of NLP coaches. I am not everybody's cup of tea. I hope if you're listening or watching this is that you do believe that I am your cup of tea and that's why you tune in. But other people I may not be, and that's okay. I'm not for everybody, and I am okay with that. Anybody, any therapist, any counselor, any coach, any psychologist, any doctor, across the board, mental health professional, holistic professional, whomever it is, if they tell you that their way is the only right way, I would run away because that's not true. Just because I do a certain modality of therapy and coaching doesn't mean that my way of doing that is going to be beneficial for you. So I invite you to advocate for yourself. Advocate for others if you are a caregiver or a helper that is in that role. Or maybe you're a parent and you need to help advocate for your family, for your kids. Make sure you do that. It's okay. It is absolutely okay to advocate for yourself. If you're not feeling well, if you go on a medication or a prescription that doesn't make you feel well, advocate. There are many, 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 many out there, and sometimes you have to find the right cocktail that works for your body. Every single human out there is very different. There is none of us, even twins, even those identical twins, yes, they are identical, but they still have things that are different in their makeup of their body. And so they even would need to possibly have different ways to go about helping themselves. So keep that in mind. You are an individual human. You experience things differently. And anybody that tells you that you're going through a similar experience has no idea. And anybody that tells you that their way is the only way, they have no idea. And run away. I highly recommend. That's just me. Also, another thing is when we're out there trying to help, whether it's ourselves or we're helping others, we just want to keep in mind that our experience is very different from other people. And I will never, ever know exactly what you're going through. And you will never, ever know exactly what I'm going through. We could literally be in the same exact experience and we take two very different things or experiences out of that situation. So I just want you to know that that is valid. There's also this idea that people have to stay stuck, I guess is the good word that I want to use, in this space of not being okay. I want to caveat this with it is absolutely okay to not be okay. You do not have to be strong all the time. You do not have to be going. If that's your coping mechanism, like me, I just keep going. That's my coping mechanism. But I know that about myself. And so when I can slow down, I actually get better. So if you are somebody that is similar in experience with me of trying to be the strong one, I don't often like to cry in front of people. And that's just a story I do. Y'all know, because if you've been watching or listening to this for years at this point, you know that I cry, and that I do get emotional. And it has been only within the last, well, really since my sister passed in 2017, that I was like, oh, well, it actually took it took about a year and a half. After I started doing NLP, interestingly enough, I found a safe space that I could actually cry and I could be with community and I could be vulnerable and I could share my story. And that was huge for me because prior to that, like I was the tough girl. I was The one that very unemotional. I think I was very, very detached leading up to that place. And I hated crying in front of people. I don't know where that came from. I don't think my parents ever told me that I couldn't cry. But for whatever reason, I just didn't. After my sister passed and I started learning some of these tools and I actually started getting connected in my own body, I started learning more about myself and I noticed that it was okay to be vulnerable and I felt safe being able to do that. And I think that's what some people just don't realize is that when we don't feel safe in our own bodies, it comes out in different ways. And sometimes it manifests through physical symptoms. Sometimes it manifests through mental symptoms. Sometimes it manifests in these like ways of being detached out of our body because we don't want to feel all the things that are going on. Oh, and I'm like, ooh, I just realized where it came from. Or when I actually started attaching or becoming more present in my body. I actually remember it pretty. So I was part of. I'm like, let me tell this little story really quick. I was part of this program. It was called the Transformation Academy. It ultimately helped us break out of our fears. So stepping out of fear and stepping into whatever we wanted at that moment. But we walked on fire, which was so fun. It was kind of scary, but it was really fun. We went skydiving, which I was so excited because that was like on my bucket list before I was 40. And I did it twice before I ever turned 40, which was so fun. And then the one thing that got me, and I was like, what? So the very first time we ever walked on glass, I freaked out. I had a major like anxiety attack and I just started crying. Like I literally looked at the glass and I was like, you want me to do what? And I was like, I can't do this. Everything else, I was like walking on fire, skydiving, jumping out of a plane, whatever, holding reptiles and snakes and all the things. I was like, yeah, let's do this. This is fun. Doing a ropes course. I was like, oh yeah, I got this. But walking on glass, I freaked out. And I recognized in that moment the reason that I freaked out was because I was so disconnected from my body, more specifically, my feet. The reason why I say that is because as I grew up, I was a dancer. I loved dancing. Dancing was like the best thing in the whole entire world. It was like something that I did all the time. I went to Metropolitan University of Denver now, but Metro State at the time. And I took every single dance class that they had because they didn't have they didn't have a major in dance, but they had dance classes, so I took them all. I had gotten into the University of Manoa in Hawaii with a dance scholarship, and I didn't go because of a boy. One of those, why didn't I do that? Also, being in a whole, like, being on an island by myself, like, I didn't want to do that. I wish now that I would have went and taken advantage of that time to be living in Hawaii and having a scholarship for dance, the thing that I loved. Anyways, regrets, but I don't really regret it because it's led to some other things, right? So I figured out at that moment when I was about to walk on the glass is that I was so disconnected from my body and my feet because also my sister and I used to dance all the time together. We'd dance in the kitchen like nobody was watching all the time. That was like the thing that we always did. And then when she passed, I just stopped dancing. Like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to dance. I didn't want to move my body. Like I was like, I don't even want to move at all. And so when I saw that glass, I was so scared that I was going to like cut my feet off, like literally like jagged swords in my feet, and like I would never be able to walk again. I don't know. That was like my panic, my fear that happened in that moment. And then the instructor was like, well, you can close your eyes as you walk across it to make it a little bit harder. And I was like, I'm not closing my eyes. Like, I need to see where I'm going. But the other thing is, like, you have to look straight. You can't look down, because that's when you actually put all your weight down, and that's where it goes on the glass. Like, so you're putting pressure on the glass more than you need to. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm freaking out, but I'm going to do it. And I was in a safe space with safe people that were part of the Transformation Academy. They were cheering me on. And I took my first step and I closed my eyes and I connected back. Woo! Brings up emotions, but I connected back into my body, which I didn't realize was what I needed. Like, I literally, like, finally felt my feet again. I felt that I could do this, and I knew that I was safe, and I knew that there were people around me that were holding me in this safe space. And it was probably the coolest experience I've had, just because at that moment, I just had not realized how disconnected I was from my body and my feet. And I feel like that was like the launch of so many things in my life, and realizing that I had the power to break out of my fear, which was something that I didn't realize that I had, and I was safe. And I think that's a lot of what we don't realize in society, is that we're craving this need for safety, and we're so fearful of these things that are in our life that we allow that to rule our life, and we become very disconnected, whether it is from ourselves or it is from others. And so I want to give you some tools to reconnect with yourself, reconnect with others, and they're really, really simple. But first, I have to go to the quick first sponsored break. And once I get back, I will share those with you. So I will be right back after this quick sponsored break.
Have you ever felt completely alone?
Like your life doesn't matter.
One person dies due to suicide every 40 seconds.
You are not alone. Call the National Suicide Lifeline at 988.
Hope and recovery is possible.
1 in 8 people globally live with a mental disorder.
That's why empowering minds saves lives.
We need your help.
With only $19 a month, you help us save lives through mental health and suicide prevention education.
Scan the QR code or go to makementalhealthmatter.org to sign up as a warrior for mental health today.
My name is Adriana Morrison, host of the Health Revolution TV show. Join us Tuesdays and Thursdays live, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where our mission is simple: engaging conversations, elevating health and wellness, empowering transformation. Right here on the Achieve TV channel on E360 TV.
And like that, I'm back. If you happen to be just tuning in to the Make Mental Health Matter show, thank you so much for watching or listening. I am solo today. I wanted to, as we end October, I wanted to give you, as the listeners, some tools, some tips, some easy things that will help you, as I was saying before I went into the break, reconnect into, whether it's into yourself, or you're reconnecting with other people, or maybe you're feeling very disconnected. There's a lot of things happening in the world today, and a lot of people are feeling very disconnected from whether it's themselves or others. And the thing and the reason why this is so important is because community and connection are the two things that have been scientifically proven to actually save people's lives. And help people know and feel that they're not alone. So my hope for today with this episode, in the short amount of time that I have left, is that I am able to give you some easy, simple tools. And again, those of you that are listening, I invite you to pop over to the Make Mental Health Matter YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, search Make Mental Health Matter. You will pull up the YouTube and you can watch these, because I'm going to do a couple of them that you physically have to see potentially to know how to do it. So, my story again is really that I have learned a lot of these things from whether I have taken workshops or when I was actually getting trained to be a certified coach, or I have had guests on my show who have shown me these, and it's been a while since they've been on. So I want to share them with you. One thing that I want you to understand about your brain is that our brains are designed to protect us. That's their whole entire goal. And when I was talking about fear before I went to the break, when we go into whether it's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, those are the ways. So when we're in this fear pattern, our brain is like ready to fight. So if you think about back in the day with a saber-tooth lion, we had to fight. I didn't, because I am not that old. But as humans, we had to fight. We had to fight for our lives and to survive. Well, we no longer have to do that unless you are somebody who lives in a place that maybe you do, right? There are lots of people that experience abuse. There are lots of people that experience or live in situations that are unsafe. So they may wake up and you might be one of those people that you wake up on a daily basis and you're fighting for your life the moment that you wake up till the moment you go to bed. And maybe it even happens overnight. I know plenty of people that have been in those situations. But what I want you to realize is that we do, as humans, have choice. We have choice of how people treat us. We have choice of how we treat ourselves. We also have choice of where we live, what work we do. I mean, as an American, and I know that not everybody that listens or watches on here is in America. This is a global audience that I'm speaking to, but I believe that as many people that I've talked to that are across the world, it's very similar, is that we have a choice to be where we're at in life. And sometimes that's hard to hear, but I truly believe that we do. Our brains are really, really powerful. And I don't know about you, but when I set my mind to something, whether it takes me 5 minutes or it takes me 10 years to get to that place that I want to be, my brain is what is going to help me get there, right? Like, I have to believe that I am going to get to that place at some point. And I have to fully believe that I'm going to. Anyways, that's a whole nother topic that I could probably spend a whole hour on as far as our brain. But I want you to understand that your brain is very powerful. It is your yes, man or woman. And if you tell it something, it'll be like, okay. It doesn't understand the gray area. It just understands yes and no. Well, really more yeses. It doesn't actually understand the no, but that's a whole nother thing too. So what you believe is exactly what you believe. If I believe that I am poor, I am ugly, I am depressed, I am anxiety, I am PSE, I am bipolar, I am schizophrenic, I am, some of these are chemical, so I know that this isn't completely, but what I'm trying to say is if I take on the identity of this thing, right? Like I am depression, not that I live with or experience depression, right? Those words are very different. But if I'm depression and I take that on as my identity, that's what's going to show up in my life. If I take on I'm poor or I'm filthy, my brain went to rich. Yep. If I'm filthy rich, my brain's like, okay, it's your yes or no woman or man. So I like to tell people it's kind of like the Eeyore syndrome. Nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to go eat worms. If I believe that, I'm going to bring all of that negativity in. But if I change my words, I live with anxiety. I live with or experience depression. I live with PTSD. I experience anxiety. I live with bipolar. I live with BPD. I live with schizophrenia, right? Those live with instead of I am. I live with or I experience can change the way that our brain thinks about these things. So I invite you to shift your words. I also invite you to shift your words as we talk about suicide and mental health. With suicide, the words, instead of committed, we want to use died by or death by. So death by suicide or died by suicide versus committed. And then also mental health. Mental health is our brain. Not all of us have challenges or disorders. And so when we know this is that we all have mental health. Not all of us experience or live with a mental health challenge, but you definitely can. And 1 in 5 Americans do on average in a given year. So anxiety and depression, those are the two that we hear all the time, right? Anxiety is future thinking. So you're thinking about the future and what's going on in the future. Depression is we're living in the past. Like, which way am I going? Depression, you're living in the past. And so we want to focus now in this present moment, me right now, you listening to me talking to you, and what's going on right at this very, very moment as you look at me and as you hear me. This is my present moment. So with that in mind, I want to share my very, very first tip with you. And again, those of you that are listening, I invite you to go over to YouTube and watch, because this is the one that I'm going to show with my hands. I'm going to roll back just a little bit because hopefully you can still hear me. I'm assuming you probably can. But what you want to do is stretch your arms out in front of you. You want to cross over your arms and then interlace your hands together, pull them in, and pull them to your chest. What this does is it connects your left and right brain together. So if you're having trouble remembering things, if you are feeling like unbalanced in your brain, right? Like maybe your body's unbalanced. I don't know. Whenever I do this, I like to like wiggle my body a little bit and see where I'm feeling stuck or where I'm feeling some tension in my body. Take a couple deep breaths. So in through your nose, out through your mouth, and longer exhale than your inhale. So if you want to count those, maybe 4 in, 6 out. But you can hold this position for however long you want to until your brains start connecting together. Also, a challenge is, so if you naturally go right over left or left over right, I challenge you to flip it up. So I usually go right, my arm, my dominant hand is my right. So I usually go right over left. So I'm going to flip it and go left over right and then roll it in. And so this, it actually helps with the I can't say it. the neuroplasticity. I have a hard time saying that word, with your brain. And then your brain's like, ooh, that's different. So then it also helps to reconnect those. So I challenge you to flip-flop them. So whatever is your dominant normal, flip-flop and roll it in. You can also do this standing up. You can do this sitting. You can do it anywhere at any point in time. So it's a really, really great technique or tool that you can utilize when you're maybe having trouble remembering, or maybe you want to tap into your creativity if you are more of a logical thinker, or vice versa. Maybe you're a logical thinker and you want to tap into your creativity. This is a really great way to do that. The next one that I want to give you is, and this one is simple, and you can do it anywhere you are. So if you take your thumb and your finger and you rub them together, and you're going to focus on the ridges of your finger. So you're going to start calming your brain down, and you're intentionally focusing on every single ridge of your thumb or your finger, and you can flip flop where your attention is going. So if you're thinking about your ridges on your finger, or maybe you shift it and now you're thinking about the ridges on your thumb. You can also all of your fingertips, so which maybe you're thinking about your right hand at this moment and you're focusing in on the right fingertips and how those feel, and then now you shift your focus to the left fingertips and notice how those feel. And then all the ridges, you can even go up and down your hands, noticing every single crack, every single crevice that is in your hands, but you're intentionally focusing your attention to your hands, which ultimately calm down your brain. It slows the process, and then you can take some deep breaths and just notice what you're noticing. Allow your brain to really slow down. And again, this can be used anywhere. It's just your fingers. Anybody who maybe doesn't have hands or fingers that you can use, any part of your body will work. So if there's a way, even on your arms, if you want to rub your arms together, you can do that, right? Maybe your feet, if you want to rub your feet together. I can't take my feet out of my shoes and rub them together, but I do know there are people that don't have hands. So I want to honor you and respect that maybe this wouldn't work for you, but utilize any part of your body. And then just notice the different areas. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it soft? Right? What is that sensation? What are the grooves? What are the ridges that you're paying attention to? The other ones that I really, really love that I have learned from past guests, my favorite is the vagus nerve reset breath. So I need to get her to come back on because she was fabulous at giving us these tools. So it's 2 quick breaths in your nose. So, and then you blow out like you're blowing a candle. And I even put my finger out so that my mouth is puckering like I'm blowing out a candle. So 2 quick. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Let all the air out of your diaphragm. So keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So you have 0 air left. But that one I use often when I feel like, okay, I experience migraines and they get pretty bad. When I feel like I'm getting anxiety about a migraine, I do the vagus nerve reset. So you keep going until you feel like you don't have any more air left. And then you can do that. And then it will actually, so your vagus nerve is what helps reset everything in your body. It's like pushing the reset button. If you have ever popped a light at your house, there's a red button that you push to reset everything. That's what it is. It's basically resetting your entire body at that moment. So, some really easy tools that you can use anywhere that you go. The other one, and I learned this again from a friend, but if you're having anxiety or you are worried about something, just tap side to side, back and forth on your arms. So you crisscross your arms and you just tap. I'm trying to roll back so that you can see a little bit more, but just tap back and forth. Some people rock with this one, whatever feels right to you. And then if you want to recite something, maybe let's see, I have a couple here on my desk. It's a good day to be happy. It's a good day to be happy. It's a good day to be happy. You want to do it in threes because our brain loves threes. Or write your own story. Write your own story. Write your own story. I know I have one more. What is the other? Oh, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. And unbreakable. 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 So those are ones that are easy, like physical things that you can do. The vagus nerve reset, nobody's gonna know. Just looks like I'm breathing, right? The other part is that we're not breathing from here. We're breathing down here. We want the belly to expand and contract, expand and contract. So if you feel you're like breathing up here, you're like, right? We're hyperventilating. So no, you want to drop it down. Hopefully you notice, like, I'm up here breathing. And my shoulders didn't even move when I did that second breath because I drop it into my diaphragm. And I know you can't see my hands as I'm pointing down to my diaphragm, but you're dropping it down into that space. So couple cool, easy tools that you can utilize throughout time and at any time. I'm going to maybe throw out a couple of these here and there as I do the show moving forward, just to be able to give you some of the tools. Again, these are ones that I've learned from either past guests or workshops that I've done. There's lots of other ones. I just can't think of them right at this very moment. But if you need more tools on the Make Mental Health Matter the show you're listening or watching to the show, on the Make Mental Health Matter website, you can download our free download. So it is 7 strategies for mental wellness, and you can download it anytime. So I'm going to drop it. It's mmhm.org. On that front page, just click on the free download. There's also under resources, it's under resources free download. Download the 7 strategies for mental wellness and use what ones work for you. Throw away the rest. I'm totally fine with you using them or not using them. Find what works for you. Speed date your therapist. Speed date your coaches. Speed date your doctors, right? Like, find the ones that work for you. Advocate for yourself. Advocate for your loved ones. There is not a one-size-fits-all. I may not be your cup of tea, but somebody else is. And those of us that really truly are the helpers, the caregivers, the one that want to help you feel better, we will honor you, we will honor your space, and we will create that safe space for you to feel like you can trust us, but also we will refer you to others if we're not the right fit, and that is okay. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, go to MMHM, that's MaryMaryHenryMary.org, and check out all of our resources there. We have some pretty cool people that we have partnered with recently. One that's called Cope Notes. It helps with those automatic negative thoughts on a daily basis. They send you random text messages throughout the day to help with those automatic negative thoughts. We also have another one that I need to drop her link, Judy. She came a couple weeks ago. They have a whole, it is super cool. I will be putting that on there soon. We also just started a collaboration with the tapping solution. It is an app that ultimately helps with tapping. So this is a tapping method. And then there's also other ones that they show you. So the tapping solution app, and coming soon, our Love Life Live program is going to be launching hopefully sooner than later. We just need to find the funding. So if you know anybody that wants to fund mental health support for low income or high deductible insurance, humans, please send them our way. But no matter what you do, make sure you come back next week. I go live every single Monday at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. Mountain Time, Mountain Denver time. And you can either watch on E360 TV. You can also go to our YouTube, which is Make Mental Health Matter, or you can listen on Dream Vision 7 Radio. I so appreciate you. We have actually hit over 100,000 people that either watch or view. So thank you for continuing to tune in, and I will see you next week. Bye, y'all.